Here in Aragon, it would be his first top 8 finish of the season if he can manage it. Yeah, only the second time this season at Aleix Espargaro. Time to find out who will be the maestro of Motorland in MotoGP 2020. A 10th pole position be Suzuki's first winner of this 2020 MotoGP World Championship campaign. Maverick Vinales to the final third of the World Championship. The Battle of Aragon begins. 19 points covering these 4 riders. Last minute by Jack Miller, wasn't he, last year? A stoppy there, just getting some heat into the brakes from Fabio Quartararo, who lines up on pole yesterday. If he can keep himself out of trouble early on, we know the Suzuki so good in tyre battle races, in those races to go. And the next one starts now. Good start from Cal Crutchlow from third on the grid, but coming through from the second row is Fabio Quartararo. Toughed it out on the brakes at the first corner. Vinales leads. Look at Alex Rins as well. Alex Rins 10th to 4th of the Ducati of Jack Miller. Mir started 6th. He's in 6th place right now. No way through for Miller on Rins, down to Mir going through on Jack Miller. Dobby's made up 5 places. He's up ahead of Alex Marquez. He's in 8th place. So the perfect starting out by Rins on this very corner on lap 1 last year. It's close between his teammate Fabio Quartararo here in the Aragon race, but it's Vinales that has a clear advantage heading down the back straight for the first time. Well, based on the rhythm that we've seen from Mavericks had of the 2020 season, full stop. Really stretching his legs early on here. Mir trying to find a way through on the Ducati of Jack. That much so. Sensational first lap for Vinales. He leads by 7/10 of a second. Incredible first lap as well. Alex Marquez, who pinches a spot there on the brakes on Andrea Dovizioso into turn 1. Great move by the Moto2 champ. Cal Crutchlow got opening lap. Cal Crutchlow, number 35. So a lot of work for him to do. He's behind Aleix Espargaro. There is Danilo. What happened yesterday in qualifying. Different ball game though in the race. Vinales then still looking comfortable at the front of this Ducati of Jack Miller. Quartararo's trying to take some chunks out of Vinales and was a bit heavy on the brakes down in Q2, as he did for the first time yesterday. Was that Mir lining up Miller coming down the hill into turn 12? Looked like it. Monster Energy Yamaha just behind him, Quartararo. Here's Jack Miller then. Mir has got to try and find a way through. This Dovizioso fights back on Marquez, up the inside of Alex Marquez, runs in hot though, and Alex Marquez says, Marquez, good stuff from Alex Rins there. Then he moves up into 3rd place, and we've said it time and time again, you just never know. To see the start replay, to see the launch that Rins got, because he judged it to absolute perfection. Absolutely incredible questions here by Fabio Quartararo. Quartararo's taken a couple of tenths out of mitigated disaster. He said yesterday speed and his pace was unacceptable for a future factory Ducati rider, and that just compounds in place. It's a very dejected figure. You can see the frustration written all over the face of Pecco Bagnaia. Raging battle here between 2 Honda men, Nakagami and Alex Marquez, who's disposed of Dovi and is now closing in. From Quartararo, from Rins, Morbidelli and Mir. Yeah, Mir's finally got Miller. So I just wonder if Barcelona's at the back of his mind, where he pushed so hard at the start of the race and then just burned up that rear tyre. Rear grip fell off his front medium tyre option as well. Maybe just waiting a couple of laps to get some heat in. Rins just swarming all over the rear tyre here. Simon, you've got some thoughts on Jack Miller. What do you think?
I have, because if all the guys around him, definitely everyone in front of him is all hanging on, because those soft rears are worth about a second a lap.
Yeah, thank you very much. Out front there, Vinales it is that leads. Maverick Vinales leads, but it's Quartararo still just about in second. A little bit hot at the first corner there. Don't know if that cost him a couple of places. Cal Crutchlow trying to regroup from a very poor first lap. So far so good for Maverick Vinales. Clear air ahead of him. It's exactly what he would have wanted. Exceeding track, didn't it, in Misano? So what kind of pace are these guys running at the moment? Vinales was 3:10. I think maybe he made a mistake when he dropped into those 49s, because he did a PB lap on that previous lap. In fact, he was the strong. The KTMs will be up there as well, as Rins just goes a bit hot into turn 14, but the K 7/10 of a second it still is. So Rins quickly got on the back of Fabio Quartararo. That's wide from Quartararo. Door wide open for us. Quick check on the lap times on that last lap. Rins was quicker than Vinales out front. In fact, though, the quickest rhythm now, the fuel loads lightning. Heat in the tyres. We know how strong Mir is going to be. Certainly in 2014, when they fought it out for the title, right to the last race in Valencia. He's still in 9th place, just ahead of Dovizioso at the moment, running in the low 149s. Jack Miller on the same tyre combination, low. This one in the background there, you can see Alex Marquez almost on terms with Jack Miller. In fact, he's now going for it. Brilliant move. Sider here then in his best ever dry position, 6th here in Aragon. Well, we do know he loves Motorland Aragon, fourth back alongside Alex Marquez and retaliates. He's got the inside line as well. And the Honda's not exactly a slouch, is it? But look at that. Just in hot mark. Once he dispensed to Fabio Quartararo, he's been able to latch right onto the rear tyre of Vinales and start to really put pressure on top. He certainly is. And there's more with that. He a little bit wide. The pair of them are out wide.
They're
Two for the price of one.
They're both caught napping.
And the pair of them, they didn't want to give up on the braking zone there. It was a battle of who was going to brake the latest. They both happened.
In the background there, Nakagami's now safely through on Jack Miller in 7th. So it's 3 Ducatis, 8th, 9th.
To those rear tyres, how much they do indeed drop off and deteriorate towards the last few laps. Maverick Vinales then looking back.
Quartararo. And there's Rins. He's through and he leads. Brilliantly done by the Suzuki man. And Joan Mir is close.
Very shortly, Alex Rins, when he hit the front in the Red Bull ring, crashed a couple of corners later, didn't he? So far,
it's quicker than the two out front at the moment. The Repsol Honda rider there has disposed of the World Championships here.
Vinales just was out a little bit wide, wasn't he? And
look at the grip that they've got though.
That's right, so many times. That's been really problematic for Fabio Quartararo pretty much from the first lap onwards.
He's at this moment in time. Morbidelli's 4th ahead of Alex Marquez. You do wonder, don't you, how much tyre Alex Marquez of Quartararo, that it's a 1 second gap back to Nakagami in 7th place.
Well, Barcelona, Suzuki had to wait 13. Is Morbidelli yet another victim of the hard-charging Spaniard? He certainly is.
His ability to be able to turn that way. Alex Marquez again, a 48.9, the only rider in the 48s.
Well, we talked about how Spanish talents dominate that. And Alex Marquez, who's having the ride of his life in the dry MotoGP, even though he qualified left.
Look at that, he absolutely nailed it. And he went round the outside as well, which is pretty brave. Fantastic effort.
Yeah, we've seen all...
It's cost them dearly into turn 1.
Absolutely sensational launch off the line then by Alex Rins Suzuki.
What happened here yesterday?
He's going to get him on the brakes into turn 12, or is he not going to be quite close enough? No, he's not. Quartararo, there is Jack Miller on the 43 Pramac Ducati.
Look at that, I mean that's another get out of jail free card for Dovi if it ends up like this.
This final couple of corners have been really difficult for Quartararo to get that Yamaha stopped, and again he can't run the tight line.
No, he cannot run. Setting to change to either way. Quartararo cannot hold a line and cannot hold a place in the top 8.
Steve, he's got big bother here, 149, that's his best lap of the race so far.
Yeah, and here comes Jack Miller in the meantime out front, fastest man.
As Dobby did get him. Quartararo will do well not just to hang on to the top 10, he might be pushed out of the points here, you know.
Pounce on the number 20 as well. Will he be able to do it into turn 1? Not on this occasion. Look at
Alex Marquez. Here comes Marquez on Mia. Thought he was going to attack at turn 4. And look at that, live championship.
Alex Marquez is a transformed character. The Honda is a transformed motorcycle from what we had at the start of the year. He's learnt.
Going to be too many people pre-season that would have predicted Alex Marquez in the dry fighting for a massive criticism for how he got the ride because of his superstar sibling pulling strings inside HRC. Well, Marquez
coming into that territory soon now, and there's Vinales, then he loses another place, and it's a Suzuki 1-2. They're side by side on the exit. I'll tell over Maverick Vinales, and surely he'll go through. He does. It's a Suzuki 1-2.
The Yamaha just cannot hold the line, can it, in those last couple of Vinales respond. He's getting worse for him. Alex Marquez dive bombs him. Absolutely awesome that. Came from a long way back, and now
have been so strong all weekend at the moment. None of them are on the podium. Alex Marquez then into 3rd place. Quartararo.
Marquez back in Cervera. He might have knocked it off the wall right now. He'll be jumping around the living room for joy, watching his younger brother Alex in trouble. 10 laps to go. This is where Vinales hit bother last year in the race.
Yeah, you just wonder as well. I mean, this has been an outrageous 10 laps remain. Suzuki, Repsol, Honda. Alex Marquez, how much has he put through that soft rear tyre on his charge from 11th place on the grid? Further back, Quartararo.
Painful experience this for Fabio Quartararo in more ways than one.
Binder's now through on him. Is he about to...
Tactical best. It's a fast-flowing, very physical circuit, this Motorland Aragon. He's bashed both of those hips, hasn't he, so far this week? Ella's going to pick him off here now.
It was a 151.8 from Fabio Quartararo.
3 or 4 laps, we said.
He cannot do anything with it. He just cannot stay on the circuit. It is incredible. And Maverick Vinales is in
Fabio Quartararo's problems right now. Is it more tyre than physical? He's got Oliveira, Alecuona and Broll behind him. I mean, he could be in 18th spot very, very soon. You know, he's wasted a couple of big opportunities so far this year, one being last weekend in Le Mans. But had he not made that mistake, he was looking.
Corner where you're going to see Alex Marquez try and go through on the inside. Here he goes, through he goes, like a hot knife through butter.
He's gone. Marc Marquez has won here the last 3 years.
Look, his fingers
Alex
crossed.
Marquez, Father Julian, well, he can barely watch. The younger Marquez brother, truly remarkable. Hats off to him.
World class from the Moto 2 world champion.
What's the disadvantage? Time is on his side. Got to say, Rins has not looked like making pudding, and from an unlikely source in the 73 Repsol Honda of Alex Marquez. He would not have been expecting this Alex Rins today when they were teammates at Estrella Galicia Honda. Not a lot of love lost at all. 5 laps to go. A bit of a twitch there by Rins down.
Outrageous.
I mean, not that Alex Marquez needs any incentive whatsoever to try and win his first Moto. A little bit more, doesn't it?
The gap's 3/10 at the moment. The gap will be 0.1 by the time they come around.
Medium front tyre choice might be a Marquez masterstroke here, because he's got that medium. At the moment, you've got to say, Mir struggling to get back on par with the 2 men ahead of him. What's happened to Fabio Quartararo, who's having a wretched day. Quartararo outside the points in 17th place. Mir might really championship contenders at all.
Two fastest men.
Well, Nakagami was awesome late on in Barcelona when everybody's tyres were dropping off a cliff. He came on really, really strong. Squirming, screaming for grip as he got on the gas coming through turn 11. So he's definitely used up a lot of that soft rear tyre.
But wide on entry there from Alex Rins. Alex Marquez will round off turn 15 and get on the gas. Will he be, when we come around next time? World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo at the moment isn't World Championship leader.
As he's throwing everything at him. Davide Brivio again. And it's Alex versus Alex. Rins versus Marquez with 2 to go in Aragon. Who's going to be the winner?
This is closing a bit on Joan Mir. There are 2 laps remaining here in Aragon.
Loving the shots of Brivio. And Papa Mar spinning up a little bit, doesn't he?
We are going to have an 8th different winner in MotoGP.
Ooh, look at that.
They're going to take the 8th. Who's going to become the 8th different winner of 2020? Will it be Rins? Will it be Marquez? Could it
got this one covered? Has he beaten, has he fended off the superb charge of Alex Marquez? Rins?
He has a habit of springing a surprise when you least expect it. He did it last year at Silverstone with Marc Marquez, and now is he going to do it
to land Aragon circuit? When you talk about home races, home soil, well, that certainly applies to this young man who's what?
Do you know what? He'll only be 30 points, I think, down in the World Championship if he wins this, Alex Rins.
Incredible.
Race, another twist in the tail in MotoGP 2020. Surely it's Alex 4 and 5. Alex Marquez has been really strong with that medium front tyre. There is your new MotoGP World Championship leader. Oh, rather surprisingly.
Now then, turn 7. Alex Marquez is starting to run out of time here. Alex Rins has got what about the advantage?
Dropping down then, Alex Marquez is just, you know where he's going to try it.
Yeah, turn the last couple of corners.
It's the only place.
The corners down there for Alex Marquez. He's got to try and get close enough to get that slipstream on the Suzuki and then try and move up the inside.
There's 3/10 between Mir and Vinales. There could yet be a twist in the tail for 3rd place.
Now
coming
here we
out
go.
of the final turn.
It's all about the drop. Suzuki, has he done enough? Here comes Alex Marquez trying to get every ounce of slipstream. I don't think he's going to be close enough.
It's Alex from Alex. Astounding victory for Alex Rins here in Aragon, ahead of Alex Marquez, who gets a dry 5th place finish for him. Morbidelli 6th and Dovi in 7th. But what a ride from Alex Marquez, the rookie, back-to-back.
Fabio Quartararo, who limps home in 18th place. A nightmare Grand Prix here in Aragon with just 4 races to go.
Get out of jail free. Andrea Dovizioso has managed to close on with 4 races to go.
Look at his recent record as well. Dovizioso, 5th, 7th, 8th, DNF. Full disappointment of that crash while in podium contention, while in victory contention in Le Mans last weekend. He was the man of the day because that was an astonishing ride. 18th to 2nd in the wet in Le Mans. Huge congratulations to Alex Marquez. Thumbs up from him. What a ride that was. Within 0.3 of a second. Credit to Alex Rins because he survived some of the most intense pressure he's probably been experienced in his Grand Prix career.
In the dry, it's looking pretty bright for Honda all of a sudden, Simon.
Yes, Alberto, massive congratulations on amazing ride from Alex.
He got the correct motivation and concentration, so the guy is going step by step, but he's...
What a ride that was by the rookie. Alex Rins, though, he will take the plaudits, and rightly so, because he rode quick.
Rins is just 36 points down on Mir in the World Championship. Nakagami's 5th, by the way. 4 races to go.
And his last lap was a 49.392, which is right on par with the last lap.
After an epic win from 10th on the grid.
And Morslino, who's just tweeted 8 winners, 8 different winners in the first 10 races of a season in the Premier Class. That has never happened before. He's leading the World Championship, and what about that young man, Alex Marquez, then back-to-back podiums, one in the wet in Le Mans last weekend. Rins is your race winner. Olivier Vial, the Michelin Vice President, hands over the Pilar Molinero, Councillor of Motorland, hands over a second MotoGP trophy to 24-year-old Alex Marquez. That's a 50th podium prize to Alex Rins. It's his 15th Grand Prix victory, his 3rd in MotoGP.